like Steve Harvey doesn't believe if you're in a comedy class, you shouldn't be doing comedy. Do you believe that?
My personal take on this, and this is what I tell people when I go and cover the comedy classes, I'm like, no matter what you learn in here, the only way you're going to get better at this is to go out, hit the open mics, and get on stage as much as possible. It's the simplest,
That's the only way
most
you're gonna learn.
honest
Yeah.
advice. That being said, I get why comedy classes have a bad, stigma to them amongst quote unquote real comics.
Right.
But you got to remember, a lot of these people had no idea how to get into stand-up comedy.
Right.
So
and a lot
they
of them don't know how to talk to people either. They're horrible.
So they go to the Orlando Improv. They see a comedy show with someone they really enjoyed. And when they're leaving, they see a flyer that says, do you want to do this too? And they go, this is the way to take the first steps. And then it's billed as being taught by someone who has experience, doing what you want to do, which I think it was, I forget who said it, maybe Rockefeller, who said, it's very simple. If you want to do something, find someone who's already doing it, do what they did, and
Right.
that's how, you're a karate instructor, for crying out loud.
Oh yeah. All I do is copycat.
Yeah. So I get why people go there. And then some people don't want to get thrown into that they go to an open mic and it just, let's face it. If you're a new person at open mic, you're usually getting treated like shit unless you have a decent host or something else. And it's got nothing to do with you as a person. It's usually as a host, you're already dealing with the bump list from last week. You're dealing with needy comics from this week. You're dealing with out-of-town comics. So when someone comes up to you and goes, hey, I was thinking of doing comedy, the first thing you go is, don't.
Yeah.
So they don't always get treated the best. They don't always get priority. They get bumped when there's a working comic coming through that needs to work out. So that's just how it goes. So when you take these classes, it's usually 12 to 15 people in a class. And you're getting private one-on-one, with someone who knows at least enough to tell you how to get your foot in the door doing comedy. And when I do the class, I don't teach people like, okay, here's what funny is. It's more about going over the basics of what you should be trying to work on and what you should be staying away from. And
all dick jokes. Just do dick jokes after dick jokes.
Talk about eating ass a lot.
Eating ass like jokes. That. And abortion jokes, people love it.
Yeah, but you do some writing exercises and stuff like that. And if it works for people, great. If not, but I will tell you that stand-up comedy is the one facet where if you take a class to try to get better, apparently you're a fucking asshole and an idiot. Because it's not like you go in for surgery and you're like, so have you done these before? And the surgeon's like, well, look, they wanted me to go in medical school, but I just went and sat in at a bunch of other operations and fucking, I learned on the streets, like nothing else. I took those acting classes for a while, and even big name actors are always they're taking classes. They're always doing something, trying to better themselves or learn a different angle. Even if you take a class simply to learn, that's not me. You're always trying to better yourself, but with comedy, it's one of those things like you took a class. Yeah, you took a class. You ain't a comic.
Yeah. I took the class back in the day.
Did you?
I took 2 classes
at the Improv.
Yep.
Was that back when Myke was running it?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, I do not like this. Mm-hmm. Then, who told me to stay with it? Mm-hmm. Someone told me to stay with it. They're like, nah, man, just do open mics. You don't need to do this. I was like, oh, okay. And that's why then I did other bar and all that stuff.
Here's the thing. You can learn what you're going to learn in a comedy class and more if you go to open mics and you just fucking are cool with people. And sometimes that's going to be hard because sometimes people are going to treat you like shit because you're new. But you need to stick around, pay your dues.
Yeah, they treat you like black sheep.
And comics love to share. Like, how many times have we helped out new people or taken someone new on the road? And that's where you're going to get your first gigs. Yeah, but that's where you're going to get your first gigs. It's going to be someone who saw you at open mic going, hey, man, I got a show this weekend. Why don't you come out to a guest spot in front of a real audience or something like that? I spent a lot of starting out in comedy sending VHS tapes or, demos with headshots.
VHS tapes.
In a big yellow. So bookers, once you get in, you realize bookers could give a shit about those unsolicited, here, take a look. They got stacks of that shit. It makes all the difference when someone like Pat Garrity or Ken Miller works a club and then the booker goes, hey, do you know anyone else I should get in here? And they're like, oh, yeah, you got to get this guy in here. So it's really about connections and relationships. So if taking that class is going to help you build connections, great. If you're not comfortable with going to an open mic and taking some shit until someone sees something worthwhile, a lot of people go out, do their first open mic and think they need to get their first paid gig right after that. You know?
Oh man. Wait, when do you think I can start hosting or featuring?
I killed in there. Did you see? I brought you brought 50 of your friends.
You brought all your friends, and they're all cheering for you.
Which I tell people all the time, like, you know, you can get. I always put, when I do showcases, I always put brand new people on the show. Well, you putting him on. I'm funnier. Can you bring 50 people? Because that guy can.
Yeah.
There's no doubt you're funnier, but I've put funny people on the show in between the people that I know can also bring out people. Because when you got a brand new person, you put them up on stage at the Improv, if they've only been doing comedy for like a few months and maybe have 5 minutes that they can string together, they're going to bring out everybody from their office, all their family, because they're playing a room, you know? Meanwhile, there's nights that, like, I put Ken Miller on any showcase I do because he's funny as fuck, and that's for the audience. But there's no one coming out specifically to see Ken, you know, because they can go see him do an hour somewhere else. Or more importantly, he's local. People are like, oh, I see Ken all the time, you know?
Yeah.
So whenever you do a showcase, it's a good mix of, or at least when I do them, it's a good mix of people I know who can bring people, but also a good mix of people that the audience isn't going to feel like, shit, how many more of these do we have to sit through, you know?
Yeah.